Yo, what is up there, guys? The Wiz back at it again for another Kingdom Hearts video discussion right here, right now. So let's get right to it. All right, the Fairy Godmother. Who would have thought she would play such an integral part of the Kingdom Hearts story, leading us to the next chapter? Not me, I'll tell you that, since the last time we saw her was all the way back in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Birth by Sleep, and she's never really been that relevant until now, of course, in Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. The Fairy Godmother just came in, knew the Nameless Star, knew where she was, and knew all about her situation, even the fact that she came from the fictional side of reality. Question is, though, how did she know all this? Is it simply plot, or is there more to it? So let us discuss as to why the Fairy Godmother was the real key player. Well, according to Kingdom Hearts logic, in Birth by Sleep, the Fairy Godmother appears to those who believe that dreams can come true, and for those that do not lose faith. Now, whether you admit it or not, everyone deep inside has a dream. I'm sure the Nameless Star has one too, even though she seemed to not really acknowledge she had one in the cutscene. And if I had to take a guess, I would say, it's probably that she wants to return back to her world, or maybe it's going to be something a little bit deeper as we dive into the future of the Kingdom Hearts series. Like maybe she low-key wants Yozora to do something or wants the best for Yozora. We'll just have to wait a little bit longer before we actually get to know more of these characters like Yozora, his friends, and the Nameless Star, what their situation is back home. Now, looking at her situation, I'd say the Nameless Star would definitely stand out amongst everyone else. She's had everything taken from her, to her form and her name, and is now in a completely different reality from her own. And to top it off, she is in the final world, a place where strong hearts gather after death until they are ready to move on. So giving her unique circumstance, she would definitely stand out, making it easier for the Fairy Godmother to notice. In a way, you can kind of say that Cinderella and the Nameless Star situation was a little bit similar in terms of how they just kind of got things taken from them. Like, Cinderella really didn't have much going for her. There was no kind of free will. There was no freedom of speech or whatever. She always get tossed left aside. It's like, where was her identity at? And just like the Nameless Star, she kind of lost her identity, who she is, all that stuff was taken from her, kind of like, Cinderella's stepmother doing all those horrible things. You see, there I am making the connections. This situation kind of reminds me a little bit of the Fairly Odd Parents, where like if your life is kind of crappy, you get assigned fairies. So I'm looking at it a little bit like that in a way, but let us not forget that the Nameless Star has actually interacted with Sora, and it was he who encouraged the Nameless Star to not give up hope. With Sora's words holding a special place within the Nameless Star, the Fairy Godmother was probably able to pinpoint the Nameless Star because of her connection or thoughts of Sora. Now, how did the Fairy Godmother get to the final world? Well, I mean, she is the Fairy Godmother, so maybe she doesn't really have to worry about rules, I suppose. But if I wanted to put some logic or lore into this, I'd say after she makes the connection with someone, she is able to form some kind of special link that allows her to go to where said person is currently residing, no matter where they are. Now, because dreams are the Fairy Godmother's specialty, I'd assume after she is made aware of said person, she's able to peek into their mind or dreams, which could explain how the Fairy Godmother pretty much knew exactly what the situation was when it came to the Nameless Star and how she was from a fictional reality, kind of like in the Cinderella movie where the Fairy Godmother kind of already knew what was going on and was like, all right, let's get you dressed to impress. Now, it's interesting though how the Fairy Godmother couldn't fix the Nameless Star. Might be because of whoever did this to her is beyond even the Fairy Godmother's power. A Masters of Masters maybe? Well, who knows? Or it could be something that maybe this can only be fixed in that fictional world where the Nameless Star belongs. Although, to be fair, I'm pretty sure the Fairy Godmother is somewhat limited to what she can do as well. After all, she gave Cinderella a time limit for the biggest night of her life. Like, okay, that's kind of a drawback. But what I think is even crazy is how the Fairy Godmother knew that her dreams could act as a portal. Last time we heard something like that was with Joshua in Dream Drop Distance, saying that dreams can be a gateway between worlds. I wonder if maybe the world ends with you characters are actually from this new fictional world. Well, that will save that for another video over here. But guys, that is basically it for this video. Just wanted to show some appreciation to the Fairy Godmother, as she literally Amelia had all the answers as to what to do next. She was the real key. She says like there are 3 keys. Nah, the fairy godmother was legit like the 4th key over here. And I just absolutely love how they give the Disney characters such shining moments and important things for them to do within the lore. So guys, what I want to know in the comment section below is, what did you think of the fairy godmother and her role? Do you think she will play an even bigger role later down the line? Yo, we technically have a new trio when you think about it. We've got Yensid, we've got Merlin, and we've got the fairy godmother. Yo, this team is looking a little too OP over here. Let them fight the Masters of Masters or whoever the new evil darkness villain is gonna be. So guys, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, as that helps me and the channel out quite immensely. You aren't already, you can follow me on my Twitter, same thing as my YouTube channel, which is Ed the Wiz. I'm also on Instagram, which is madswag12345, where I post all the good stuff. I have a Discord, link will be in the description below. So until next time guys, I'm gonna go ahead and say bye pal, we'll see you soon.